It's still silent.
I'm watching the live feed. It hasn't come up yet,
Oh, okay.
but I'm on delay.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like we've gone live. Welcome to the Wire Wednesday number 3. It's still silent. And
I'm watching the live feed. It
oh,
hasn't come
I'm
up yet,
hearing you
but
through the thing.
I'm on
Okay.
delay.
Yeah. So it looks like we've gone live. Uh, welcome to uh, welcome to the Wire Wednesday
Here we go.
number 3. It's still silent. Okay, so today we're doing. Oh, I'm hearing you through the thing. Okay, I think you froze. So it looks like we've gone Steve. Okay, so today we're doing a. Well, sorry guys, technical difficulties. Let me get my video sources back up here. So today we're doing. Oh, I'm hearing you through the thing. Okay, I think you froze. So Steve. Okay, so today we're doing a. Okay, today we're doing a unique kind of modified spring aligner. I'm going to show you the script that I get from this doctor. It's not your usual modified spring aligner. This is my script from EasyRx, and as you can see, it's got a mushroom spring in there and no clasp. Unique kind of. This doctor modified spring aligner. I'm going to likes to do this kind. From this doctor, it's not your usual modified spring aligner. This is my script from EasyRx, and as you can see,
Hey, Cade,
yes, it's got a mushroom spring.
can you hear me?
Yeah, and no clasp.
Okay, the feed that's coming up is last week's feed
Modified spring aligner. Likes to do this
because I'm wearing a jacket. I'm not wearing a jacket.
That's awesome. Gotta love technology.
Hey, Cade,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you,
Okay.
but I'm hearing
The
myself
feed
for
that's
some
coming
reason.
up is last week's feed because I'm wearing a jacket. I'm not wearing a jacket.
That's awesome. Gotta love technology. I am hearing. Yeah,
Hey, can you hear me?
yeah,
I get it.
I can hear you, but I'm hearing myself for some
Coming
reason.
up is last week's feed
I can't figure out why I'm hearing myself.
because I'm wearing a jacket. I'm not wearing a jacket.
That's awesome. Gotta love technology. I am hearing. Yeah,
Hey,
I can hear you, but I'm hearing myself for some reason. I can't figure out why I'm hearing myself. I am hearing.
Hey.
Oh
Hello.
my gosh, I know what's going on. My bad, guys. My bad. Yeah, a few technical difficulties. Oh, sorry, guys. Windows. Oh my gosh, I know what's going on. My bad, guys. My bad. Close this. Come on now, close. Yeah, a few technical difficulties. Oh, end full screen. Exit full screen. Sorry, guys. Windows. Oh my gosh, I know what's going on. My bad, guys. Close this. Come on now, close. And I found the culprit, everyone. That is my bad. Okay. Can I push the reset button yet? Oh, Camilla, thank God, I thought you were doing something illegal. No, just screwing things up. So let me pop this back out. I need to call Steve Szara back and stay on page, save, and so what happened, everyone, is I had the video out. I had the live stream going, and I was re-listening to my own live stream. So I'm going to see if I can get Mr. Steve Szara back. See if he'll call me. He may have given up on me.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Okay, sorry. That was completely my fault.
That's all right.
Yep. All right, let's start over again. I'm going to turn up my volume just a tad. Hey, I hear music.
Your commercial for Smile Direct Club.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that nice?
Isn't that the worst? Smile Direct Club. Okay. All right, we're restarting this whole thing. So if I...
For all the ortho techs out there watching, it's like, oh man,
yeah,
Smile Direct Club is sponsoring
our
videos.
Yeah. Disclaimer, Smile Direct Club is not sponsoring my video feed here.
Hey, we'll take their money.
Well, yeah, I guess so. They're subsidiary of Invisalign, I guess they... Okay, so for those that don't know, Steve Szara is joining me today. Today is Live Wire Bending Wednesday, title to be changed possibly in the future. Today's guest is Steve Szara of Szara Dental Lab. Say hi, everybody. I got you on the screen. All right.
Hey.
Oh, hey. When you sign in the chat, tell us where you're chatting from. We like to hear where everybody's from. So today we are doing a live feed, but I'm doing a modified aligner, and this is a little bit different. I'm going to show the script again. See, I got it blocked out so you can't see the name. So this is it. This is what EasyRx draws for me. But you can see there's vertical cuts right here, and there's a mushroom spring. But it's a little different. There's no clasp or anything. But this doctor's designed this, and I've been bending this for years and years. So let me show some pictures of this.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah.
I think this will actually work because I can watch the screen and see what you're doing and talk to you in real time. That you and I are on real time.
Yeah.
But the delay is, believe it or not, you're showing me the prescription now, so it's not a live screen. So I won't pay attention to that.
So you'll be able to predict almost, what I'm doing.
Correct. I'll be able to watch you on your big screen enough to see what you're doing, at least talk about it.
All right.
Anyway, you and I working this out is like Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm more like Buzz Lightyear.
I'm Neil Armstrong.
That makes you Woody.
Hey, I'm from Texas, so I gotta wear my cowboy hat, right?
No, it's all good.
Yeah, so here's a picture. Steve, you'll see it in a second, I guess. Actually, you don't see it at all on any of those screens. That's interesting.
I see it now.
Oh, okay, on the live?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see those vertical cuts down there? You got the mushroom spring with the vertical cuts. Let's see, I got another one here. There we go. I have a video, but I have not figured out how to put a video up yet. But you can actually squeeze this, and it flexes and gives. So I'm going to kind of talk about how this evolved, and I'm going to go ahead and prep it. Go away. Oh, sorry. All right. Technical difficulties, of course. And you got to actually physically erase those. Interesting. Okay, so I was going to go ahead and have this pre-prepped, ready to go, but I thought I'd kind of show my prepping process here. So it uses what my previous lab owner, boss guy, would call a rest bar, and or a continuous rest. I don't know, Steve, you got a name for a rest bar that goes all the way around the inside?
I just call that a lingual rest.
Lingual rest. And then do you have a name for just a rest that's, by itself?
No, because I don't make those, luckily.
Oh, okay.
Because when they're floating, it's so much, it adds more difficulty to it because with the wire moves, everything's a bust.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
So putting those rest on it actually kind of holds it in place.
Yeah, this whole thing helps with strength and everything too. So the mushroom spring is not really a mushroom spring. It's more this little switchback looking thing. Because you're not going to, remember this has vertical cuts here and here, so you're not going to cut the acrylic here. So kind of interesting.
Do you make a lot of these?
Oh yes, this doctor gets them on every single case, whether I do resets or not, which is interesting.
Well, I was saying in my Instagram account, where I was talking about, it's kind of a little bit of a hidden gem because a lot of labs don't make them. Like they barely make them. And I make a lot of them. And It's a good money maker. One of the reasons why is, you add the resets in. Now you're like taking a Holly retainer and really kind of dressing it up. Put some color on it and add some extra things, and it gets pretty expensive pretty fast.
Yeah, the price goes up real fast.
The cool thing is that they really work. You know what I mean? Like, you could move teeth so fast, especially for someone who doesn't want to go back into braces. And general dentists could be making them.
Well, I think that this doctor just goes ahead and the teeth are already straight, usually, because these are, right after the D-band. The teeth are usually straight, but I think he uses it just in case of relapse. It just has that flexibility in there. So if they lose it for a week, teeth shift around, they can just wear it and they'll move the teeth back. We got a Greg. Let's see. Greg Malone. He calls it lingual apron. I haven't heard that.
I've heard of that before.
I haven't heard of that. Lingual apron. That's interesting. Put my separator on.
Okay, what I was telling you about Instagram is I see all these people from around the world making appliances, and I barely ever see a spring retainer. Like, I've seen Inman's, which is a super sweet design, but I've seen those in Europe. But as far as around the world, I don't know if anyone makes them besides the United States.
Yeah,
I just don't see them, which is
you're
interesting.
Right.
That
I don't see them.
Use them.
I make super springs. Like the pictures that you make on your account, and with the mushroom spring, and then the cuts, around the mushroom spring. Wait, Greg, are you calling the little flat, the little mushroom part, lingual apron, or the whole lingual bar? All right, so my lingual apron or continuous rest is I'm using 028 wire to bend that.
That's pretty thin.
But then I'm going to double it up with another 028 using the mushroom. So the first iteration of this I had single rest on each side, had a 032 wire in the middle as a support bar, the mushroom spring laying on top of that, and then I had there were 5 wires altogether. And when I started working for this other lab, it's down to 3 wires now. So it's very simple, just a simple use of this continuous rest. I used to hate these lingual rests, these continuous ones, because I can bend better on the outside of the mouth than I can on the inside. I feel trapped and claustrophobic. But after having to bend thousands of these, I've gotten a little more comfortable bending them.
Yeah, in my business, I make a lot of them. So it's actually very, very cool appliance.
I was hoping to have a live finished one that I could show, and that's why I had that video in there, but I had to ship them all out. They were due. So this is one of those appliances I don't want to make for fun.
No, no, definitely.
Do you get many doctors that ask for samples?
I personally do, yeah. Like I make a really nice model.
Yeah.
And duplicate the model, make it really special, you know, like so they're showing the patients in their consults.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a lot of requests for a lot of different appliances to be made.
I haven't in a while, which is kind of surprising.
I think it's actually a way that people can make extra work for themselves if they just go to their doctor, like, and say, hey, what models do you have that show appliances, you know, or how do you explain what a thumb habit is? And a lot of doctors will be like, hey, how about making me a sample?
Yeah.
And you know, you make them a really nice sample and make it professional, and it's all good because you're making extra work. It's like, and work is good.
Yeah. Well, like you said the other day, you know, good thing you like to work.
Yeah, definitely. In the ortho business, anyone who takes this job on is gonna be working a lot. I mean, if you got work, I guess. If you don't have any work, go get some.
Yeah.
But it's out there. Yeah, but I have a lot of requests like that with, let's say, like make a spring retainer or something, or you know, make the before and after, so you can see like this is what it looks like with a couple of crooked teeth. This one looks like with straightened teeth, you know, and this is what the aligner does.
Do they tend to be able to sell more?
Yes. Yeah, you're showing them an example because a lot of patients come in there and they're just like, for instance, especially in a general dentist, every single person that comes into a general dentist office does not have perfectly straight teeth unless unless they just came out of braces. But everyone needs a little tweak, and they hear about Invisalign, they right away say, oh, I can do Invisalign and straighten my teeth because I didn't wear my retainer when I was younger, and make a long story short, they get a little bit of the price tag and they're like, whoa, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
they
price
realize
tag
it's,
shock.
you know, thousands of dollars to do Invisalign to straighten out a couple teeth. But here there's an option where you can make a spring retainer and you can straighten them out overnight, practically. And I know that, for instance, because I've made my own. Like, just to test out the theory of like what's it like to feel when you're wearing a spring retainer. Does it hurt? Does it actually work? I think that's the key thing. You know what I mean, Kate?
Oh yeah, I need to make my own too.
You just strip a couple teeth, or most of the time you don't even have to do any stripping, and you go ahead and put this thing in your mouth. In my experience, it hurts.
Oh, you gotta take your Advil.
It's the first night you take. I highly recommend you take ibuprofen or something before you put it in. You snap it in, You wear it, and you wake up the next morning, and it hurts because everything's shifting. Of course, the next day you put it, you don't have to wear it during the day, which is cool because you can go to work, you can go do whatever you want. You come home, you go to bed, you put it back in your mouth, but it hurts less. By the third day, you don't even know it's in your mouth. It's so cool.
Yeah.
By the third day, you look in the mirror and you see everything's just like your anteriors are. For people who are watching this video who don't know what teeth are, it's your front teeth, your lower teeth. They're straight.
Right.
Everything's like beautiful. And then you just keep wearing it, and you wear it as your permanent retainer after a while, which is super sweet. Because you don't even. I have doctors. What I tell them to do, the patient will come back like in a month or 2 months, and they're just like, wow, I can't believe your anteriors are, your teeth are completely straight. And then we want to lock them in. And how you lock them in is you just freeze that spring by adding acrylic and hardening it.
Oh, so, excellent.
So then you have a retainer that's permanent. And if a good doctor knows, general dentists typically, they're not going to know like an orthodontist would know to tell the patient, hey, guess what? I know that whole theory about you only had to wear your retainer once a month or whatever. It's life. You got to wear it for life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no getting around that. The teeth will go back, and they have memory.
But we got a question. A rule. What's the name of the appliance? Well, this is. I'll show this picture again for the latecomers. This is what I'm making. This is modified. This doctor calls it a spring aligner, but it's a little different because it has these vertical acrylic cuts in it. And Avendaza Dindal is asking us to do this in Spanish.
That's Jose, Dr. Jose. What's up, buddy? I know him.
Yeah, he wants you to do it. That's your job. You're supposed to speak this in Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
I guess me being in Texas, I should be close enough. Well, it says aquí en un comentario en español. So
tell him to speak English.
Tell him to speak English.
No, I talk to him all the time. He has his own channel. So he has a really cool channel that's called Avanzada Dental, that it's in Spanish. He's from the Dominican Republic. And I can watch his videos like as a technician and I learn from him because I'm watching his techniques and stuff the same way that he's watching ours. Because it's when you're watching someone's bending wire or something, they're like, oh, they did something different. Or, oh, what's he doing with that clasp? I've never seen that before. We can watch each other even though we don't speak the same language. But he does speak English because I talk to him on Instagram all the time. He's a great guy.
That's awesome.
And we have a lot in common. He's my musician friend.
Oh.
He plays guitar in a band. It's super cool.
Hey, y'all could have one of those famous garage band, play together thing.
And Ortho convention, we'll play together.
Yeah.
We'll play live.
Well, okay, here's my mushroom spring. I'm going to do. See if y'all can see this. Alright, this is a little bit different. I'm not going to turn it back on itself. So I've just marked distal of the 2s. I'll take my little pliers here if I can find them. I cleaned up my area, now I can't find anything. So I'm just going to make little switchbacks. Again, this is mainly just for acrylic retention. Not for any kind of extra slack, so it moves real easily. So that is... see if I can get a good angle on here. Let's try this camera this time. So there's my switchbacks. I try to keep it kind of low, close to the gum line. This is the part that makes me nervous. Because it could all go smooth from here or not.
Especially live.
Yeah, especially live with 14 people watching. All laughing at me. That's why I'm only going to do one this hour. So that I don't try to... I can spend some more time on it.
The people out there watching, do you make them in your lab? That's a question I'd like to know.
Yeah,
Like,
spring
are you taking
aligners in
advantage of
general.
this?
All right, so I'm gonna cut them. I don't know if you can see where I made my cut marks. They're usually around the 5, the second molar is where I make my cuts. And I want this thing to just kind of lay down into position. That's where a model holder comes in to help. I'll tilt this thing. If you can see from this camera angle, let me so I've tilted it where it will hold that mushroom spring in place. Now another thing I'm looking for, hopefully this will show it, is I don't want any space. Let me mark where my cuts are going to be. So my wife is the one that finishes these, and I was in the wet acrylic. I was actually cutting this for her to save her some time, but she was saying her burr was digging into it, so it was just easier just to cut it all at the end. But get my hand out of the way. What you're looking for is no space right there at that cut. I want those two wires together, so when this twists, they twist against each other and cause torque. Now, the original design was just the mushroom spring and rest, so maybe one wire. But it was a single wire, and I didn't think that had enough support. So that's when I added a 032 support wire, which would double it up. But then I ended up doing support wire, mushroom spring, 2 rest. It was a lot going on. So, and I used to wax right here, and I don't anymore because I used to wax. Change my camera angle. I used to wax this little section right here to hold that wire into place while you're sprinkling. Now I use a little zap it. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but right there I have a space that I need to get rid of. I don't want a space, the wire space where I get acrylic that I got to clean out in between there. I want them together so they torque against each other. Also, when you're cutting this out with a cutting board or slicing it, you will hit. You ever do, Steve? You ever do the cuts where you're pretty much just listening for the sound of hitting metal because you don't know how far you've gone?
Yeah, yeah. Especially when someone orders like a black retainer for a spring retainer.
Yes.
Like, no.
Yeah, I can't see
Make
nothing.
it clear. Yeah, I know that feeling. Especially, and then another feeling that is bad is when you actually hit the wire. You go right through it. You're like, ooh.
Yeah, that, and then the whole appliance.
It's very hard to repair.
All right, so I'm going to show you now what I use. Let's see if I can get a different angle in here. So I use this Z-base, the Zap It. If hopefully I'll link a video where I've kind of done a video on different uses of Z-base. I don't like tacking this down with wax because I don't like wax being encapsulated in my acrylic, so I use this acrylic based. Oh, what color is this? Nautical blue. You won't be able to see it. That's all. Now, if they get a clear one, you can kind of see this if you glob it up. I'm trying to. I think I'm out. I gotta do the Texas Copenhagen, the snuff thing where I hit my finger against it. So I'm gonna do it. There we go. Alright. I'm gonna put just a little dot. And I'm gonna drag it down the wire. This is one of those precarious moments. Then I put my activator. Alright, so let's see if I can get a live shot here. So you can't really even see it, but it's tacked on there. I'm going to use a different, I'm going to try to use, you ever heard of Fix-It powder, Steve?
Yes, that's what I use.
Yeah, I'm going to switch to Fix-It powder because it's probably cheaper. But right now, I was wrong, that wasn't tacked down. Now it's going to be tacked down. And activate.
Is there any questions in the chat?
Oh. Well, Greg Malone says people are not laughing at you, as far as you know. He he he.
Greg. Yeah, I hear you there.
I think most people tuned out because of the audio difficulties. They're like, I ain't putting up with this crap. This amateur crap.
Yeah, we'll get it right.
Yeah, so I don't do any waxing. It's a little shifted, but again, this is going to be dark blue. Mainly, this mushroom spring is just for retention so that these things will flex against each other. These parts right here. Alright, so I'm going to experience remove source and add a clip. Oh, cool. Alright, so I'm going to play the clip while I get the labial bow ready. Designed for a spring. As you can see, we still have the mushroom spring inside. Get a clear one here so you can see. So if you can see that, take this off. See, there is a mushroom spring inside there, but there are these vertical cuts instead of a cut going up underneath it. So vertical cuts going all the way through. So that gives it springability. So I've reset these teeth, and this thing will give. See how that moves? This thing will give. So as it gives it a little slack, so it can stretch over the crooked teeth. And then since I made the retainer on the straightened teeth, it looks good. And so that was it. That was the only way I could get a live shot of what an end product looks like. Again, that was a modified aligner.
See, now I know what you're talking about when you were saying that you actually cut all the way through it.
Oh yeah, you want me?
You're kind of off the hook.
You're off the hook. It's like, oh, okay, that didn't fit very well, but it was okay because those teeth were so crooked.
But don't get me wrong, I've had doctors call me up and say it doesn't fit. I'm like, no kidding.
Yeah.
like when like a general dentist, they've never made one before, and they're just like, it doesn't fit as comfortable as your normal retainers. I'm like, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Like, it'll get there. Just trust the system.
It's one of those things where it's weird to say this, but it's the more you wear it, the better it'll fit.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a benefit. Wearing your retainer often, plus it's the benefit that you keep wearing it. It's less hurtful. Unlike like if I'm sure you've heard people who have Invisalign, or they'll have they have that system where they wear this invisible retainer for hours on end, and they take it out of their mouth, and they're like, I'm not putting that thing in his head, tired of it, I'm going to give it a 12 hours rest. And then they go to put it back in, and it hurts like really bad. and it compounds the problem because then they don't want to wear it, and they don't realize every single hour that goes by it's getting worse. Just like stick it in your mouth and it'll all go back, but it's painful.
I had a doctor explain it to me one time, saying, for every hour you have it out of your mouth, your teeth are moving back. So
Right. Right. Correct.
so when you're wearing it, it's correcting your teeth, and when you take it out, your teeth are trying to go back to where they were. So you got to wear it more hours than you don't wear it.
Right.
Have you ever heard of Clear Correct?
I've heard of them. Yes. I don't
They're
work with them at all.
they're located here in Houston. I was talking to one of the sales guys, and they're a little different because they don't, like, let's say there's 35 trays that they got to give the patient to. They don't give all 35 to the patient at once. They wait for the patient to finish a certain number of sets, and then they'll give them the next ones. Like, they got to make sure that they're wearing them, and then they don't have to. If they lose it, they don't have to you don't have to pay to get another one reprinted and made, because they hadn't even made them yet.
Right.
They're just sitting in a digital file until the doctor says, okay, we're ready for the next ones.
You've earned more invisible trays, more invisible retainers. Congratulations.
Yeah. See, they need to make it like a video game.
Yeah, it's just the things that they don't tell you in the dental office. Like, they're just like, guess what? This is really gonna hurt. And then I think, me personally, I would just get the braces and get them on, because once they're on, my kids have both, and yeah, it's pain the first day or two, but then they get used to it and they're done. It's you'll see it with your kids as they progress in orthodontics, like when they go to their dental appointments and you find out they got to get braces. They put the braces on now, and they have such good systems that it's so awesome that it doesn't hurt as much as it was back in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, a little more gentler.
And they move teeth fast.
Yeah.
The forces are so much better, like the movements and the angles, and they can perfect things. So it's just suck it up and get the braces. But I understand the vanity of not wearing braces. I mean, I get that, especially as an adult.
Well,
I get where Invisalign has a good niche.
Well, have you seen the YouTube videos where kids are making their own retainers or their own braces using
great.
paper clips?
That's great.
And
that's not good, by the way. If anyone's watching,
yeah, don't do that. I know some of you may be watching this, figure out how to make your own.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. Here's your
you're gonna
public service announcement of the day.
I think, though, they don't realize that they're doing more harm than they're gonna do in the long run. Oh boy. I always like the kids that try to close their diastema. You ever seen those videos? Where I'm not going to talk about it because I give people ideas.
Oh yeah.
But I've seen some weird things, and that could really, really mess you up. So go to a general dentist, get an opinion, see an orthodontist, and go from there. And I think a lot of times you find out it's not as painful as they think, and it's not as expensive if you work out payment plans, and all the orthodontists will work with you. I've never met one that'll turn a patient down and not work out something, get them going.
Yeah.
And that's part of the healthcare in the United States, that got to get people healthier. Because Kate, the dental procedure, the healthier your teeth are, the healthier you are overall.
Oh yeah, the mouth.
It's related to heart issues.
Oh,
it's related to everything.
It's weird when you get a dental procedure done, and you have to take antibiotics for your heart. If you have a heart murmur, I don't know if they still have to do that or not, because a dental procedure for your mouth, they got bacteria can travel to the heart and give you problems.
Oh, especially gum disease.
Yeah. Like
periodontal disease and all that stuff. Everything makes your heart have to work harder to prevent infection. It all just works together. So the more we can keep kids safe, or have straighter teeth and better hygiene at a younger age, you're gold for the long term. I just noticed that these conversations come up a lot with doctors where we're talking about it, and they're just like, I just wish people would just go see their dentist and not put it off, you know. Or and if you can't go see a dentist, at least do the basics. Brush your teeth.
Oh yeah,
Floss.
yeah,
It's not that hard.
yeah.
The toothpaste is so cool nowadays that, you know, it actually doesn't even taste that bad. It's like, just do it.
Dude, my grandmother used freaking straight up baking soda to brush her teeth. We're talking old
Yeah,
school.
peroxide.
Yeah, that was some of the nastiest, but yeah, I guess you get used to it.
Yeah, baking soda and peroxide, that was like the key ingredient to straighten or whitening your teeth, and yeah, that's bad.
But she was just using straight up baking soda, no peroxide. I mean, it didn't even foam up in the mouth. It was just like salty. Bleh.
Well, a personal question: does she have her teeth now?
Yes, she still has them, all of them.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, she's 92 years old. Still
Oh
has
wow!
all of her teeth.
That's
Probably
awesome.
still using baking soda.
In my generation, my grandparents, I think they were wearing dentures in their 50s, like, and that's when I knew them. So I always knew them with dentures. So I don't know when they actually got that. They could have got them when they were 35. I don't know. It's just that was the trend.
Just pull
It's
them all.
crazy. Oh, it's crazy. Can you imagine, like, in the time you're 50 wearing dentures? And that's not to say anything bad about the people who are wearing dentures who watch this video. I'm just saying, it's like,
Oh yeah,
when you can prevent it, that's the key. Like,
Yeah.
you can do the right things now, you know, clean your teeth, like clean and brush, and wear Sprint like this appliance that you're making right now. It's so helpful. It's something if someone's watching this video and they have minor teeth movement. Now, what I mean by minor tooth movement is, I mean, when you look in the mirror and your teeth are a little bit crooked, nothing like you ever heard of the phrase a snaggletooth? Like, wow, that guy's got a
Yeah.
snaggletooth.
where teeth are like in
Your
front of
teeth
each
are like
other.
the teeth are like this. But if they're a little bit crooked, this appliance, if you can't afford Invisalign or you can't afford braces, it works like a charm. Very, very inexpensive way to at least do something. That's the key. Like, do something instead of doing nothing. I've met people who show me their teeth and they're just like, what can I do? And then I went to, the doctor, and they want to do braces or Invisalign, but I can't afford it. What can I do? Well, do nothing and have periodontal disease in 10 years. Like, just do nothing, which is going to cost you so much money. And that's part of the healthcare conversation, that they're going to have more problems. Unlike if you just went to the doctor and said, hey, I seen this guy's video and he was making a thing called a spring retainer, spring aligner. If I have teeth, just small movements, could this actually help or work? And it does. It does. It's cool.
But you can't have summer teeth.
You can't have what?
Summer teeth.
What's that?
Some are here, some are there.
Oh, no,
It's a joke.
no.
It's a bad joke.
No.
Sorry. That's a real bad joke.
Kate, I forget you're from Texas.
Yeah.
Summer teeth.
And I'm a dad,
No,
so I like the dad jokes.
Oh, yeah, dad jokes. At your age, you should, or not at your age, but your kid's age, you should be watching a lot of cartoons and stuff.
Oh, I do.
Toy Story 3. Those were good times when my kids were little. I used to sit and watch all those cartoons. They were pretty good back,
Oh, yeah.
quite entertaining. And I love how they would interject the adult humor.
Oh, just for the
because
adult
they know
that's
we're
watching.
sitting there watching this going, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
Throw in some zingers.
The only
But
adult.
no, if you had,
Yep.
if you're missing teeth, that's a whole different story. You can't. Go on. What were you gonna say, Kate?
Oh, we got a question. Greg Malone's asking, what are the best resources to learn the mechanics/action of these appliances?
Josh Dobson was asking recently in our Ortho Association. the Facebook group. He was asking about a good book, and there's plenty of good material out there, especially online, that you can download spring retainers. The book that I would recommend it's by Dr. McNamara. He's a orthodontist that's locally from University of Michigan. Is pretty famous. They wrote a book together, and it describes all that stuff. I'm pretty sure the Great Lakes Manual book has it, a good section on spring retainers, where you can learn what to do and what not to do, how to make them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that.
Let me see if I got it right here. Let me go get it.
In your manual? Yeah, Greg, if you're listening, I would definitely say to research it, but they're not that hard to make, and they're a good little money maker in the orthodontic lab business.
All right, so I've actually used this a lot more than I thought I would.
Which book is that? The Great Lakes?
Yeah, this is the Great Lakes one. So
yeah,
you can go to greatlakesortho.com and you can order this from them. I want to say it's $165 or something like that. By Brian Wilson and Stephen Warnock. I was looking to see if they had a spring instead of designing terminology. Fixed, bionator, activator, Frankel, Herps, nathological tooth positioner. I learned how to do tooth positioners in here. Splints, mouth guards, invisible plates, mini star, vowel star. I probably have it. Tooth moving springs, $249. Yeah, I was gonna see if it.
Yeah, that's a great book to read, by the way.
Yeah, decent pictures. They're all black and white, but most ortho techs have a great mind of being able to take a picture and reproducing it and going, oh, I can just show me a picture. Don't tell me what the name of it is, because they're all different. Yeah, here's some spring teeth in here.
Oh, the other thing, Kate, is I would say there's at least maybe 7 or 8 different designs that are popular. It's not just like there's not one that's popular. I make one called a double helix. I make a super spring. I make a mushroom. I make something that you make. I make a spring clip. There's the Inman series of aligners. So it's not just one to choose from.
There's a mousetrap one. Yeah, there's a whole bunch in each. So this one, this doctor is just a very simple, something that is there just in case something does move, and it can fix it real quick by just wearing the retainer, because it will actually give. Whereas a regular retainer will move the teeth, but if they've moved too much, they can't get it down and that kind of stuff. But here's another one. Have you seen this one? Al McOrmond, RDT. It's from Canada. This is actually what I used in lab school.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, but it published in '96, so it's reached. I don't know if they have, if it's still in production or not. But I was gonna see what. Just talk about the resources for spring retainers. I was gonna see. But so
yeah, those books are so much. There's so much knowledge about the appliance that's going to help you with design, with the forces of what's actually going into the spring.
Right. Yeah. There's many times I've gone back. It's good to keep a good library, because you can always go back and reference it and go, oh yeah, okay, there's another way to make that. Here's those of you that have seen my How to Bend an Adams class, I got it from this book. One of my most popular videos for some reason.
I think we talked about that. It's because all the dental students
Yeah, they're trying to bend one in school, and they're like,
they're in their
oh.
4th year. They're like, no. They realize that then a lot of them get turned off by ortho really fast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just an Adams class. That's what makes us special. It's not so easy.
Oh yeah, and we're kind of a rare breed, you know.
They're like, they make it look so easy.
You know, in lab school, this is a joke I always tell and wear out. We had to wear glasses, eye protection, while we were learning to bend wires, because there's two things that fly around when everybody's bending wire, and that's wires and cuss words. So, because there were a lot of cuss words and a lot of frustration, a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yeah, here's some different lap springs and single tooth moving springs.
You know, it's an ortho lab tip. This is something that's kind of silly, but it makes sense. An easy tip: if you're bending a wire, like let's say you're bending a mushroom, and it's just not right, start over.
Oh yeah,
just start over. It's so hard to like give it up. Like I put time in this. I'm 10 minutes in. Take it, put it in the garbage, and just start over.
Yes.
Because the more that you tweak wire, the more it obviously you're damaging it, and not to mention when you're spending more time, you're just wasting more time. That's
Yep.
number 2. And number 3, it's never gonna fit right anyway. It's never gonna be like. Do you know how like when you bend one side and the other side does something that people just can't get the concept if you're a beginner wire bender?
right. Yeah.
Like everything you do on one side is going to screw up the other. Like every time you make a holly loop and you go to do the other side, you got to pay attention to both of them at the same time. Otherwise, I mean, obviously you and I, like as technicians, we've done this forever. That you bend a wire and you can bend the holly and you don't even have to think about it. But in the beginning, everything you do is detrimental to the other side.
Oh yeah.
Once you get in that rut where it doesn't fit, just start over.
Well, like I want to start over on this one, just because it's just slightly crooked, and I don't like it, and it's bothering me. But I know it's not going to make a difference in the appliance, and nobody else is going to notice except for me, because my cut's going to be in the same spot. They're going to be vertical here. So I'm going to play that one video one more time so people can see. Now that you can see the final product.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah.
Before you do that, why don't you show a really good close-up? Like, can you do a close-up of your springs?
I don't really want to give a close-up. I'm kind of ashamed. Oh, gosh. Way too close. Okay, so 3 main wires. You got the lingual arch. You got the mushroom spring. Or it's kind of a mushroom, kind of a different one. Just simple little switchbacks. Because we're not cutting acrylic this way. We're cutting acrylic vertically this way through the appliance. So you want these 2 wires laying on top of each other to provide torque. And in the video that I show, you'll see when I squeeze it, they work against each other. And of course, simple labial bow, and I make that out of 030 to give it a little bit of flexibility also.
And then you're going to add acrylic to that labial bow?
Yes. So I have my red marks on here, and that's my good point. Yeah. I'll add acrylic to the labial bow, which you'll see in the video. I'm going to wax this down. Let me play that video real quick. It does not like... There. Oh. It helps if I actually add and not the camera over and over and over again. Designed for a spring. As you can see, we still have the mushroom spring inside. Get a clear one here so you can see. So if you can see that, take this off. See, there is a mushroom spring inside there, but there are these vertical cuts instead of a cut going up underneath it. So vertical cuts going all the way through. So that gives it springability. So I've reset these teeth, and this thing will give. See how that moves? This thing will give. So as it gives it a little slack, so it can stretch over the crooked teeth. And then since I made the retainer on the straightened teeth, it looks good. Yeah. So, and then you can actually stretch them out just slightly to get them back against the teeth, instead of using that hot water method, which maybe I'll show some other time. But with that, I think I'm going to end it. Oh, Greg Malone. Thank you. Great resource. It's a real blessing came across your channel. I'm going to recommend it to my employees. Yeah, this is watch mine and Steve's channels, and Jay Tyler, which will hopefully be a guest next week. They are great resources to just sit your whatever you want to show them, like how to bend a labial bow. You can find it on one of our channels and just sit them down in front of it and let them watch it. And hopefully one day we'll do we'll do some basics. I think Jay Tyler even sells a 6-disc DVD for training your technicians. So if you don't have an internet connection, you can just put those DVDs in, let them watch it. But Steve, this is the end of it. So tell people where to find you, both all your social media.
Yeah, you can search me at Szara Dental Lab, SZARA Dental, and you can check out my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Join me, and basically, we're doing kind of the same things, but everything's a little bit different. That's what's awesome about orthodontics, orthodontic lab work, is even though we're both technicians, we both are. You can learn from each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So join us, subscribe if you like what we're doing. Hit the like button, and hey, there's one thing that I always like in my videos. Sometimes I'll leave a little, like for the people who actually watch the whole distance of most people will cut off at some point, but I always give them a little tip at the end that's like, oh, if you would have watched it, maybe you would have got something special.
Yeah.
I want to show you something. What you didn't show is when you do the finishing is one of the most important things. What burr are you using? Can you show the burr to the people who actually watch this video? Because that's like a bonus. It's like, you got something really good out of this. Yeah. Because that burr is everything. If you can't cut out those retainers with the springs, that's half the battle. You know what I mean? And I know that's your wife's department, but if you can show the people the burr that you use, I use what they call a fissure burr, and there's a certain way to break the burr in, otherwise you'll rip right through the wires. Oh yeah. Because it's so thin. And definitely show them what you're using, because that is a complete little tip on making a spring retainer correct. Being able to cut the acrylic back, being able to cut it without destroying the wires. Yes, that's an excellent point. Yeah. We can save it for a finishing video, but for right now, it's a kind of a bonus tip. Like, here, since you watched this video, here's a nice little bonus tip for you. Yeah. While you're still here. Gets this far. So I'm showing you right now. I get it from Great Lakes Ortho. It's just a 6-piece set of cutting burrs. All this is in German, so it's by shoe. But here's the burr. It's a brand new one. So you can see it's real thin, almost the size of, I would say, 036 wire, and it just cuts right through it. Again, you got to be careful when it's new. It cuts real nice and clean. When it's dull, you run into problems and you get jagged. But again, when it's new, you'll tear through the wire really quick. But let me see if I can get a good close-up of this. Yeah, that's something similar to that I use. I'm using comet burrs, but they're called fissure burrs. And without those burrs, I've tried a bunch of different brands, and you know, if you don't use the right burr, it makes this appliance pretty hard to make.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I also use this for expander appliances, Schwartz's and stuff, where I can just cut right through it. That or a disc, but sometimes a disc you can't get the angle right, and so this always works. So, with that, we are going to call it off for the day.
Back to work.
Yeah, get back to work, everybody. Happy bending. For those that are Patreon users, we might have, if I can talk Steve into it, we might have a special broadcast where we do a little testing, and we'll let y'all in on that. So, the people who subscribe to my website and the Patreon. So, until then, happy wire bending. Have a great day. And, ooh, hold on. This is going to be awesome.